came back. He's one of the 18 brothers that Brooklyn T. Guy has, and he's also the youngest triplet brother of Brooklyn T. Guy and Dr. Me. The last time that Does Bad Things Guy appeared was in SML movie The Secret Door, where he was then shot in the head by his own brother, Brooklyn Guy.
Is everybody okay in there? Oh my God, are you okay?
What's going on?
Well, yeah, I see you met my brother Does Bad Things Guy.
And this was right before he was about to hurt Mario Rosalina and Jeffy, so Brooklyn Guy came in at just the right time. But in the same video, it was told by Brooklyn Guy that Does Bad Things Guy took Brooklyn Guy's place for 7 months while he was on vacation from 2016 to 2017, because apparently he was so burned out from how many jobs he has.
I have a lot of jobs. Right?
Yeah, you're a doctor and a cop.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
you really are those things, right?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a cop and a doctor and all that, but I have a lot of jobs and I needed a break, so I had to take like 7 months vacation, and I needed somebody to fill in for me while I was gone, so I got Does Bad Things Guy to take my place.
But the thing about Does Bad Things Guy is that we've seen many times before that characters who are presumed dead were never seen again until there's a big video. For example, SML movie Jeffy's 18th birthday, where Nancy, Jeffy's mom, was shot in the head and was presumed dead for a year until she came back from Jeffy's 19th birthday. And assuming that you can survive a shot to the head, or maybe there's just a 50-60% chance that you can, because we haven't heard from Does Bad Things Guy in a while and there's a 50-60% chance of surviving a shot to the head, Does Bad Things Guy could actually still be alive, plotting his revenge and waiting for the best time to, because we know that's exactly what Nancy did, as she literally waited a full year plotting out her revenge on Jeffy. However, if you've been a fan of me for a while, you might remember my theory that Does Bad Things Guy is actually Billy. And some of these points are pretty accurate, because Billy and Does Bad Things Guy both used the secret room to both murder and torture people, and the closet was never used after that by any other characters. As well, Billy's last appearance in SML movie Billy's Revenge, where Billy comes back to give Marvin and Rosalina AIDS once again, but then the news comes on and says that Goodman, Brooklyn Guy, and Susan contributed to curing AIDS.
Breaking news, okay? The cure for AIDS has been found. Me and 2 other people are the reason. Let's go to our interview now.
Ah, you scared me.
Hello, it's me, Mr. Goodman. I'm here with Dr. Brooklyn T. Guy and his nurse Susan Smith. Dr. Guy here found the cure for AIDS with nurse Susan using the money I donated to fund the research.
And when Billy found out that they all had something to do with it, he kidnapped them and he had them play some games, and if they didn't escape in time, they would die. And Brooklyn Guy and Goodman were able to make it out alive with, some sacrifices, but Susan was not able to and got her head crushed by a bear trap.
Oh man, that is messed up! You sneezed on my sandwich! Man, now I gotta throw it away! What a waste!
But here's the thing, if Billy is Does Bad Things Guy, we can expect him to come back during October, the month of Halloween, and you can expect him to do his usual acts of trying to give people AIDS or even torture them, just like in the Saw movies. But let's say Does Bad Things Guy is actually not Billy. What if Does Bad Things Guy actually survived getting shot in the head and was alive the whole time? The first thing is obviously he would try to seek revenge on Brooklyn Guy for shooting him in the head, which stopped him from killing Mario, Rosalina, and Jeffy. And it's literally his triplet brother who shot him. And of course he's not thinking right, because he's crazy, so he's gonna be wanting revenge. But Brooklyn Guy won't go without a fight, and we would probably see an entire fight between them. And if Does Bad Things Guy succeeds in killing Brooklyn Guy, he would then of course go on to finish Mario, Rosalina, and Jeffy, because they are the 3 other people who know about his secret. He'll either try to murder them on the spot, or since Brooklyn Guy and Does Bad Things Guy are identical to each other, Does Bad Things Guy could then again take his brother's place, because he knows that Mario always calls Brooklyn Guy to the house to deal with whatever crazy problem they might have. And if Brooklyn Guy is truly gone, Does Bad Things Guy could keep his body in the secret closet just like he did before and wait for Mario to call him, and then climb down his rope and answer the door to where he'll then kill them.
Crawl out the window and I go and I knock on your front door. and then I do whatever you need me to do. See, I didn't have a problem with you people living here.
Or what Does Bad Things guy might know as well is that Brooklyn guy just sometimes shows up to Marvin's house, even if he didn't call him, just because of how frequently he visits Marvin's house. So when Does Bad Things guy thinks that the time is right, he would first try to take them back to the secret room, where he would then reveal himself as Does Bad Things guy to see if they remember it, and after that he'll try to secretly dismember them without any of the neighbors noticing and try to hide their bodies in the secret room just like he does with every other person. And then the next person who comes to buy the house again will be advised, don't go in the secret room because it's off limits, and if anyone tries to suspect him, he'll then try to capture them and do the exact same thing he did in SML movie The Secret Door, and just hide the bodies and take his brother's place for a job until maybe in the future he'd get busted. But if you remember, in SML movie Jeffy's Anger Management, Jeffy is given anger management classes by Dr. Me, but Mario and Rosalina thought it was Brooklyn guy the whole time, and later at the very end of the video, that's when Brooklyn guy shows up in a cop outfit and tells them that Dr. Me is really his identical triplet.
This is Dr. Me that I was telling you about? Yeah, with twins.
I knew there was two of them!
And in this case, Brooklyn guy, since he has another identical twin, he could actually use this to his advantage. If Brooklyn guy were to figure out that Does Bad Things guy is actually alive, Dr. Me could help by posing as Brooklyn guy as a sting operation. While Brooklyn guy will try to warn everyone that Does Bad Things guy is back and he looks just like him, they'll then set up the sting operation, so when Does Bad Things guy comes across Dr. Me, he'll think that it's Brooklyn guy, and so Simmons and Brooklyn guy will be waiting so they can arrest him. And if it comes down to it, they might actually sacrifice Dr. Me in the sting operation, because we know that Does Bad Things guy is literally crazy and will do anything. They might tell Dr. Me that it's a totally safe sting operation, but he could die just to arrest Does Bad Things guy. And we know this because Does Bad Things guy does insanely bad things. But the thing is, when Brooklyn guy shot his brother in SML movie The Secret Door, he didn't hesitate or even feel pity. Yeah, Does Bad Things guy killed a lot of people, but he's literally Brooklyn guy's triplet brother. He would at least try to consider the possibility of working with his brother or telling him to turn himself in. And if you think about it, what if Brooklyn guy did save his brother? Because in the video, right when Brooklyn guy shot him, he said he was gonna call some backup and some paramedics.
Look, I'm gonna unchain everybody, and then I'm gonna call for some backup and some paramedics. Jesus, this is really messed up. Yeah, so let me just get everybody enchained and then I'll explain, alright?
And probably right when he freed Mario, Rosalina, and Jeffy, Brooklyn guy was by Does Bad Things guy's side, helping him try to survive. And even if Does Bad Things guy did die, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an appearance in Jeffy's 20th birthday, since that's when we have high budget videos. And then we'll have the same lame explanation, just like how Nancy said she survived the gunshot to the forehead, where Does Bad Things guy, he could maybe just come back with a raspy voice and say that he survived a shot to the throat. But think about it, what if he actually did live and Brooklyn guy was just hiding it this whole time? Because in SML, Brooklyn T guy has so many jobs, like being a doctor, lawyer, pizza delivery man, and so Brooklyn guy would save Does Bad Things guy and give him another chance, and then Does Bad Things guy would then turn his life around and keep taking Brooklyn guy's place in current SML videos. And because Brooklyn guy has to do all these jobs and barely being able to pay rent and get home with then Karen just annoying him, it puts a lot of stress, and Brooklyn guy is probably tired of all the work it takes. And so if Does Bad Things guy were to take his place and do half of Brooklyn guy's work, they could then both have vacation time or off days. For example, Brooklyn guy always complains that he doesn't have time to do anything, even sleeping. But more recently, in SML movie Brooklyn Guy's Bad Decision, Brooklyn Guy spent all his life savings on courtside NBA tickets to watch his favorite team, the Miami Heat, versus the Boston Celtics. And if Brooklyn Guy was not at home or at least ready to go work, it could be that Does Bad Things Guy is actually the one helping with the jobs. And for Does Bad Things Guy doing this favor for Brooklyn Guy, he won't turn Does Bad Things Guy in for the 20+ murders that he committed. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Where really is Does Bad Things Guy? Is he dead? Is he alive? Thanks for watching. Subscribe and click on this video here.